Hey guys, today I've decided to address one of the questions that I get asked a lot about how I can improve my bench press. Since my video has had quite a few views, I get asked that quite often, so I'm going to show you the things that have helped me. It's not to say they're going to help anyone else, but I mean, some of them should, and either way you can maybe try implementing them and see if it makes any difference. The first thing I'm going to show you is the first thing that I actually did to try and improve my bench press. Obviously a lot of people when they bench, they're just constant fluid motion, no pausing, whereas if you watch most of my videos, most of it is paused work, and I very rarely, do any touch and go work. One, because it feels like it's out of control, and two, it just feels better for me. On the demonstration I'm going to use a proper weight as well, like not too heavy but not too light, because I feel like when people do videos that show form, show other things that they're doing, it doesn't really give the proper picture of how the lift should go. So I'm going to put 100 kilos on the bar and I'll just do some demonstration for you. Alright, so we've got 100 kilos on the bar. I'm just going to go through the pause benching, not anything else, no setup, no leg drive, none of that. We'll get to that after. So this is how I would do my pause bench. So basically I get my setup. Usually I would take longer to set up, and then unrack, come down to the chest, pause, press, down to the chest, press. I wouldn't say I keep any time in my head, like 1, 2, before I press. I just press, like I can't, it's just a natural thing. But just make sure you do a solid 1 count, maybe 2 count if you're doing it fast. Personally, this has been the main factor in increasing my bench press, purely because, well, it builds a lot of power from the chest. I feel like my bench press max went up pretty much within a few weeks of doing this. The only thing that I could say is to make sure that you're consistent with your pauses. Like, don't do one day where you're pausing for a second and then the next day where you're pausing for 3 seconds. I mean, I'm not saying you can't implement longer pauses, but over the general trend of things, you want to be very consistent with your pauses so that your strength is, going up at the correct pace. Also, obviously, your bench is going to go down a little bit in strength, which is okay, because I mean, you're going to be building more power overall, so don't worry about your strength going down initially. Because obviously touch and go I can do more too, but I want to keep things more controlled and build that power off the chest. The next thing I'm going to talk about is there are several ways you can implement pause benching. No one says that you have to pause like I do every single rep. I mean, that's entirely up to you. There's been ways that I've seen people would implement it, and I'll demonstrate that now. So one of the ways that people pause bench, they have this thing where they think that pausing every rep isn't necessary, and that's fine, and that's, someone else's opinion, that's cool. Everything, can work different for different people or whatever they prefer. So I've seen some people pause the first rep, such as this. So they'll pause the first rep, and then go. And touch and go the last few reps. I've seen people pause the first 3 reps, and then however long their set is, say 10 reps, they'll do the other 7 without pausing. And I've seen people pause their first and their last rep, the last rep to show that the strength is still there. One of the other things that I find quite useful for my bench was my setup. Now, I haven't been someone that's done a lot of variation in my bench, so I don't really have that many things to show you, like as in different variations of exercises. So I can only show you the things that I actually have focused on. So my setup, what I like to do is, I bring myself back, I get a grip on the bar, which I will show you soon what grip I take, which there is another important part about this. I pull myself up here, and then I properly get my shoulder blades back into the bench, get tight. And another thing that I want to, show that's important, that has been important for me, is when I'm at the bottom of the lift, that my wrists are in line with my elbows. Wrists in line with elbows has been something that's important for me, you want it to, obviously as you come down, because I feel like you're leaking power if your wrists are in a bit or out a bit. Like I see a lot of people wide grip benching like that. I mean, to an extent it's personal preference, but then also, you know, you want to try and be in the best position. Like, so there's a deadlift, for example. I can't really get into the best position because of my leverages, but I still try, and I realise that I would be stronger if I could. I'm going to quickly show you my grip now on the bar. So if I can manage to bring this camera over. So I'll put my finger at the edge of the, I think it's called knurling, and then wrap my hand around the bar. That's it, both sides. With that grip being taken, I feel like that puts me in the best position to bench. Like I said, it puts my elbows in line with my wrists, and everything feels good. I mean, if you look at my bench progress video, I used to bench wider, and then I think I brought it in a bit and then a little bit further out. So whether or not I'll change this in the future, I don't know, but we'll have to see. Like right now, I feel comfortable like that. Everything feels strong. I've hit constant PRs over the last 2 years doing that, so I don't see any reason to change it yet. The next thing I need to talk about, and it's something that I can work on myself too, is leg drive. Now, I will try and demonstrate this. So for leg drive, basically, as you'll see, as I push, my hips will rise a little. You have to be careful your ass doesn't come off the bench. However, it's not the end of the world in training, providing it doesn't become too much of a habit. It happens to me sometimes, and that's too bad. Like, sometimes it happens, like, you know, with backgrounding on a deadlift. So this is me in the paused position on the bench, and now if you watch my legs, they'll tighten up as I go to press. Relaxed, press. Now, I'm not sure if that was easy enough to see, but if it's not, I can explain it in the comment section. I can do another video on it. The only assistance exercises that I've actually done for bench is obviously close grip bench press. I have used the slingshot, I have used bands, but they were more recent, and they're very fun tools to have. I wouldn't say they're anything to do with how I'm benching, how much I bench, because they're not. I benched my PR of 165 kilos, which I believe is 350 or 360, something like that, I don't know, in pounds, without using either of them in my training. So at that time as well, that was a double bodyweight PR because I only weighed 180 pounds. Floor press is something that I did use in my training, which, I don't know, when I fail on bench, I fail here. So I believe when my triceps are working the hardest, and I think floor press did help me with that. I've never used anything like Spoto press, which probably could have helped too. I can do a floor press demonstration if anyone wants, but there's lots on YouTube, so it's probably not much point. As I said, the most important thing for me was implementing pause benching. All my bench work is like that now, unless if I do close grip touch and go, something like that. And that's usually just for tricep development or arm work, whatever. Through some of my training clips you'll have seen I used wrist wraps, and I used elbow sleeves. Elbow sleeves, not so much, don't really like them. I can't be bothered to put them on, not that it takes time or anything, but they don't really do anything. I don't have elbow issues. Wrist wraps, I don't need them, but I like how it feels on squats too, because it makes my wrist, I don't have the biggest wrists in the world, but like, it makes me feel like my wrist is more supported, and I'll take that. Some people claim that they add like 5 pounds to your bench, but no, what a load of shit. They're just, you know, they're just nice to have for the support. I'm not sure if this video will even be helpful. I'm just trying to do the best I can with the questions that I'm getting, and obviously I have a shitty tripod to record my video, so I don't have anyone here that can hold my camera and get better angles. I will do one recording from the side though, so that you can see how I am descending on the bench press. But from this view, it's basically like that. My elbows do flare, and I don't have an issue with that, and the people that do complain, when I have had people in the past say, oh, you need to not flare your elbows so much. I'm not an equipped lifter. I'm stronger than you, and I watch obviously a lot of top lifters, power lifters, and they're all flaring too when they're heavy under load. Like, the problem is with the internet, we have a lot of people who just want to constantly pick at something, even if they're stronger than you or not. But usually the stronger the people that I speak to, the less critical they are of what I'm doing. When people give me their advice or opinions when I've not asked for it, and they're weaker than me, they're usually the people that will attack me for no reason. So I hope this video has been helpful to some people. You know, if you have any more questions, just ask. I've enjoyed helping people out and answering questions, you know, anything I can do. If you want to give me any tips on how I could have improved this video, thank you, and you know, I'll work on it. I'm just going to do the side recording now from the bench, and then I'll do you know, a set of 5 or something so you can see. So this is how I do a standard set of 5. Everything included. Pull myself up, lock my shoulder blades in, get my legs and feet tight, unrack, take a big breath, press, press, take note of the leg drive, press, press. Most of those pauses, obviously, they're exaggerated pause, but you can see how I do things. I'll just do the side view now, and then hopefully that'll cover everything. And this is the side view for the bench press. So, unrack, big breath, bring it down. So I think my elbows are reasonably tucked, and then you might see them flare out as they're going up.